I'm hoping to change um, the way that this is being viewed. It's not coming from America that I'm getting donations that are coming at me because I'm being heard. But having said that, I don't know. I uh, I think it's worth it to keep trying to ask for assistance here financially because it's highly possible, you know. We have all kinds of Cash Apps and PayPals, and I don't like picking on, I don't want to see, I want it to be more social because it's just me here. I live alone. In fact, I'm pretty sure I have someone, in fact, groups have picked on me, and I'm still standing here, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, well, all right, but okay, but I can't move. I can only move as fast as I can move, and I would rather reach out into a different community, which isn't so prejudiced against me. Sometimes I think it's just my looks. I live in Southern California, and I don't know, the political atmosphere, I guess Donald Trump is trying to cause a civil war. I mean, they are pushing and trafficking people and treating people terribly, and they are people that can easily be prejudiced of me. I've already experienced it where they just think that I'm the reason why their life is miserable. And it's like, no, actually, we're all in this together. They're manipulating everything around. I have nothing to do with your people being feeling the way it does about land being taken 300 years ago. Will you please act like you know what Christ Jesus was all about trying to tell us about? There's something called love. There's a whole technology behind it too that I think it just needs to pierce through more than ever. It needs to pierce through. Start trying to lift people up. But how do you do it when you're smack dab in the middle of, like, swill that is just people that basically you mention love, you mention God, and they pretty much roll their eyes. Oh, they have their version of it, and you can hear it's, yeah, you want to talk about, I'm sorry, Christianity is pretty darn fake. If you can recognize the science, and if they really know Christ, your eye is supposed to open. Now you can see the true light of day. You're not in your head anymore, and you actually know a lot more. You can know everything. You're not running a fucking mind game on people. You're not putting a blindfold over them. You're not manipulating them into being blindfolded because why? Oh, it makes them money or just gets them food. See, that system that preys on other people's fear of just standing up and saying no. See, first of all, you don't know how to fast. So when you say no to somebody, you don't know how to starve and keep your wits about you for 3 days. You're going to panic. You're codependent way more than the next person like me who says, no, actually, get more creative. These people are not really obligated to you. Not really. They're obligated to your energy until you figure them out and can't give them any more. Cheap supply, by the way. Most likely, you're not even able to look into the eye of your darn enemy, your government, or whoever it is you're trusting to run this system that keeps everybody boxed up. Hi, how are you? Just minute 4. God, here I am again. Trying to tell us about this passage that we're going through as a somebody doing the populace a favor, saying, no, you guys, you can't ignore the passage that we're going through. And it's really a passage of rebirth. Watch out for people that are actually designed. They are literally being paid to get in your way of this cosmic rebirthing, which is just a restoration of your entire body if you're doing it right. If God has you doing it right, you're finding yourself being left alone more and more. You might be experiencing some health issues, but you have to straighten them out by using a diet. not your doctor. You use food. You figure out what you're doing that causes that ailment. I am experiencing something that is so uncomfortable that I'm trying to learn from it. That's all you can do, right? Being turned into this agitation that is, I think it's codependency. I tried to explain it, that narcissists are causing codependency. And I don't want to dwell on this trap of it's energetic, how that's just that's the way they hook you in, and how pathetic it can get, right? When they start using the things that they have given you and the things that literally, come on, you have created a trap and we're depending on you now. But now see, when we don't act a certain way and be a certain thing for you, and we just have to do it. You're abusing us, by the way, putting us into that corner. You are, in effect, you're kind of uh, uh, saying that I don't approve of you unless this, and your resources can be cut off unless you do this. That's enslavement. That's bondage. That is fucking karmic shit. That basically it happens because you people don't have any other way to get close to another human being. You don't know how to just be cool enough to say, hey, man, I find you here. I find you interested in the same thing I do. We do this and that. See, it's hard, right? With the society you see today that is only running for money, because that interest is just really, how do you get a deal? How do you rip people off? How do you make it at all? Really, that's like the thing. That's where I come on here and I think, oh, I'm just sounding like another hustler. That is so unfortunate. And having said that, I'll say, yeah, no, you people running for money and money alone, yeah, money itself, we can see what it's doing now, unless it's converted into a social system that it says on, say, let's say the media on the bills, the dollar bills, they say, in non-ownership, we trust. How about that? Because God is the only one in control here, right? That's pretty much what they're saying if they say God, but why not just get more specific? You can't own any of this but your behaviors. Now, how are you going to play the game? Are you going to do it right and support each other? See, that's what a lot of people are trying to tell us. It's like, and they try to hold it against us when we don't support the artist. You're not supporting your local artist and the people that you think you are as an artist. You should support others. It's like, you know what? There's a bigger fucking problem than just asking individual people out of their guilt, making them feel guilty that fuck, we're all starving. If you're talking about artists, now you want us to support each other because we're all starving. Basically, how do we do that? As far as that is concerned, babe, art and all that has been trashed. We're watching the fucking decline of all of that right now. Music is being tossed out. They are trying to destroy the delicacy of just about everything, every higher learning tool that you can handle to learn most everything else you need to learn, worth learning, that is actual learning, that is worth learning. Music was one of them, but number one is your fucking body. They got rid of that a long time ago. I'm talking about, yes, your genitals and how to feel good there. Fuck, that's gone. Nobody even points at it. Well, maybe sex is missing. Maybe just two of them. And then Christ says, just takes two or more, maybe. Why? Well, if one happens to see the right way to do it, fuck, that's the contagion right there. That is like, talk about rebellion. And I hope you like this video. I'm going to try and stretch it out, but it's one of my codependent agitation videos from having just not being able to put up with it. The same cycle getting worse and worse. It doesn't see that it's happening. It's like, I'm sorry you don't see it, but I cannot put up with the way that you deal with it either. You notice that the thing to say is, oh, I'm sorry you feel that way. Just throws the ball back into your court. It's like, well, you know what? I'm sorry that you can't play this game. Bye! You're sorry about feelings. That's all, huh? Oh, interesting. Well, you're weird. You'll be sorry about feelings. Can you respond in a more effective manner that doesn't come from a fucking goddamn suggestion from a fucking narcissist? How to deal with human beings as a narcissist. Might as well put that title on there, and then you just go through it. It's most likely what's out there. And it's actually designed to fucking snuff out intelligence and IQ levels. Really, you're supposed to handle that fucking um, gray rock suggestion. And it's like, no. And we don't want to continue to be kept ugly and made ugly and our sheen taken away and because it's a constant fight, right? It's a constant fight. What, Shauna? What is it? Oh, well, do you really think that we're supposed to try and manage a one-on-one? One of them, one person? No, I don't think so. I'm an Aquarius moon that says, no, I've always had many, many people in my life. See, this is the thing that one thing I'll let people in on about my life, Shauna, because you're wondering, what is wrong with this person? Well, I'm somebody, okay, for reasons of, well, if you can call me living in the mountains, I like my privacy anyway. I'm not somebody who doesn't like to be with people and to integrate, and I'm not somebody who doesn't like to have a schedule with people who I'm working with, where at the end of the day we feel good that we're going to get back to it tomorrow. Maybe we're getting paid. Maybe we appreciate each other when we show up for each other that way. Whoever's paying us, I don't know. That money thing really fucks. Doesn't it really kind of throw a monkey wrench in? Because, yeah, if you have a boss, I was really fortunate. I tried to talk about this before. It was one time in my life where, no, I stuck with this job for a long time. That boss was a female, and she did something for me that, let's just, a long story short, she stuck up for me when I was being attacked in court, and she kept me away from being punished in such a way that was unjust. I was being ganged up upon. And she could see it. And she's like, actually, this person's really useful in another society away from this shit that's trying to fucking condemn her, which is her own family. Now, there was just parts of my family that, man, they could be narcissistic. It doesn't have to be your family. It could be your neighbor over there. It could be whatever. But they are not really good to be around, period. Is there some way you can get away from them? And the trick is to make your own money and get your own place. But does anybody else, can we really do that? What I'm looking at, and I'm going to continue to talk here, is oh no, there's a scenario that's ongoing and it's kind of increasing and it's kind of relocking. It's because of a paradigm that's saying, no, this is the way we're driving you. And what is that? Oh, men are supposed to take care of women because why? Oh, well, they're stronger, they're working more, and they're making the money, and they're so into that thing. It's like, no, well, I'm taking care. And it's like, no, but the real people that take care are women. They're designed that way. If you do not have her doing quality control about everything that you're doing in the morning, we're fucked. Not even your money is going to help. Now look at it. Look at that fucking money now. The way it is now. Most likely just fucking with people. You're just fucking with people. On the account of now you can just see that these people say, no, I'm more important because I make money. No, you're not. When, you want me to start arguing that for men and women? No, women are more important because they give birth to children. They can take birth control unbeknownst to your fucking ass. And we can hire fertility clinics to be built. We can manage your life by just saying, here, go build a fertility clinic over there. Yeah, we're 12-hour days building fertility clinics everywhere because for some reason women cannot have kids, it seems to be. Is it the man's fault? Well, let's tell him that he has a poor sperm count. Well, no, she's probably taking birth control unbeknownst to anybody. Then what happens? See, this is the thing I see that fucking bugs me. Men think that they are entitled to women having children. They just think that that's their property. And it's like, no! You people are ridiculous, and you do not qualify to even fucking breed there. You're dangerous because you entitle yourself to something that you're not even fucking deserving entrance into the sacred place and space of. You think you want something there and you don't even know what you are missing as far as if you really wanted something. See, what you want is power. What you want is a status that gives you attention enough that says that you are something that other than that what you think when you're all alone, which is a piece of stinking shit. That all alone part is very important because you cannot get away with just being there. You have to get out there and show yourself. as a, oh, you're doing this and that with your family. You know what? Can you see how they're trying to get the fuck away from you? If they're not stuck in bondage and in a state of resentment where nobody is really communicating, I'm sorry, but I'm looking at something that I've been looking at all my life. I'm 50 years old, and how do you be quiet about it? Well, here's how. Just be them and say, no, but this is the way we live, right? Cut your tongue out, be a fucking crock of shit, and be disinteresting to people like me. Hi, how about you? Are you completely fucking disinterested with 80% of what's happening out there? I'm not saying that I'm a hater. I'm not saying I'm not incapable of loving. Here's the problem. These people are not real enough to know what love is. They're doing attachment development and they think that that's love. Can we talk about that? That fucking attachment development that happens, it's just a mechanism that kids, when you're a toddler, you have to mimic. You mimic because you don't want to be thrown out of the tribe. You start mimicking these people and they start laughing and you start getting more and more acceptance because all you're doing is mimicking them. Oh, it could be anything. Pretty soon, see, a narcissist gets very confused about it because when a child starts to speak and sound like them or act like them, like, oh, a controlling bunch of assholes that tells them no all the time, and they start saying no, and they start saying a certain thing, then they start slapping their kids around because they're behaving in a certain way that's wrong. They're just reflecting that at you, you stupid non-self-reflecting, blind fucking bats that you're in trouble now. That kid is hardly 3.5 years old now. What are you gonna do? Actually happens earlier that you destroy them, you fucking ruin them because you don't want to see something of yourself. That's all. And the saying goes is that your kids, when you have them, kids will take you back to being a kid. Fucking narcissists don't even think of what that means. Do you remember when you were a kid? Huh? 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 Probably strung up and abused, and you don't remember. You don't even fucking remember. You are thinking, yeah, I love the carefree time when I was just irresponsible as hell. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Remember, no, why did you think that? Why couldn't you feel free enough to where that you felt now responsible, that you can feel, you know what? No, these are my faculties. These people are just people. They're not superheroes. I'm looking out for myself. Even though I'm running and looking back, I'm trying to figure out, is there somebody that cares at all? You know, it's not really a game of I don't know what I'm doing. No, can you care that I'm even here and going there? How do I treat this? Well, a parent is paranoid of their kid running free. That's just the standard. That's what you see, right? You see that, well, at one point in the 80s, I wonder what happens to this generation that is supposedly full grown now. The generation who had leashes tied to their backs. There was a generation of wine cooler drinking adults who had children who's they're toddlers. They had leashes tied to their back that went about 25 feet away, and if something happened, they just reel them in. And it's like, well, wow, you guys are just hardly involved there, except for when you feel a tug on a wire, and you're like, ah. No wonder those kids are trying to make an escape more and more, and they need those leashes and shit like that. And that was probably took a generation to form. You don't even know that's your own freedom that you're fucking blocking there. And what about that wine cooler drinking generation? Fucking alcoholics all across the goddamn board. Making an excuse saying, oh, it's good for your health. Well, is it real grapes? No. Oh, it's not good for you. You have to pay for a bottle of wine at least $145 for a small fucking few 6 glasses, or forget it. I'm sorry. I don't feel good because I'm rendered into agitation, feeling totally insecure, unstable. They know it. Who are they? I'm just dealing with one entity that keeps coming here, and it's just they don't realize that when I'm trying to talk, even here, that I'm exposing myself. I'm saying, babes, this is how you need to look at it. I mean, really, can you set yourself aside and stop taking advantage of the way that I am vulnerable because I'm completely alone here. I don't have, not only is it that I don't have anybody coming here, I'm isolated, I have nobody. I keep saying that, making me vulnerable. neighborhood people could be watching me going, yeah, you know what? I don't even want to fucking post the last video I made that it's just, in this day and age, in this society, you do not make yourself vulnerable that way. You just turn into a goddamn rootless, gutless fucking anomaly that cannot get anything done for itself because you don't want to make yourself vulnerable? I say no. Nope. This is the time now that we're supposed to do the right thing, and that is to be strong enough to make ourselves vulnerable, and that is to communicate. Communicate. Therefore, I'm going to put at the end of this video, right here is going to show up at the end, a video that I'm not posting, I'm not listing public, but it's a newer video, same day that I made this one, that is more, it's like kind of raw, and really I want more people to help me here. I want a community around me of good vibe energy people that, okay, so, I want it to be, and I want this to happen for you. If you want this for yourself, I want it to happen for you. I want what you want for you. And I want people to want things for me around me who are here. And see, really, it needs to happen so we can clear ourselves up. See, this association that cannot clear themselves up for the life of them. They keep doing this thing that I feel like it's completely unconscious. What are we going to do about it? They are running a program that is completely unconscious. This means that if you try to talk about it, oh, it's so unconscious, and actually it's going to be triggered because problems have been happening in its past. And then when you try to talk to it about it, it just goes, it flies off the handle and it runs because this is its karma. It's been doing this for how long? Some people have been going 40, 50, 65 years operating in a certain way that, you know what? It's usually an alive relationship, a real live connection that starts to make you feel all these things. Now, I am not free of programming that is very alarming in me. See, the thing is we can't afford to act unconsciously and say, well, um, I'm just going to push this down the way that it affects me. No, you should be communicating about it. The thing is, the only reason why communications would be hung up is because you feel that being vulnerable is a bad thing to do. It's always attacked, and that's very possible if there is insecurity on both ends. You have to be very patient and figure out, do you really want the interaction? Now, um, yeah, in the case of a lot of people, we don't want people in our lives more so than to access the truth. And if it means that we have to get resources through people, let that be, but it's still not going to dislocate us from our need and striving to know the truth, even if it's the truth about people. See, people aren't the truth is the truth, and people are people, and you'll find yourself in good rapport with people with whom the truth brings you together. Now, this is just a controversy now, having said that, because there's all kinds of truths. There's the truth about money. What is it? Let's look into it. There's so many perspectives about it, but there's the right perspective, which is the truth about it. And somebody on here is wise enough to tell me and alert me to say, no, no, this is the way you look at it. It's a religious, it's a system of belief. It's ran on pure belief. That's all. It's not valid to say that money um, constitutes our well-beings. No, money is here because we believe something. It's just mind orientation. And I'm going so far to say, wow, what a study. Really, so it's a huge mental institution. You just have to believe something, cross your eyes, and who cares about dotting your T's? Just cross your eyes, dot your T's. 5 plus 5 is fucking 11? Or 2 plus 2 is 5? What are you going to do about it? Because money has the say so here. Food does. Really, it's food. You don't like to starve. That's really what's going on. You don't know what it takes to put food on the table, really. You have not a single hand in it. When you walk outside of your home, there is no sign that you are managing not just you, but say your people around you, if they are your people. Not, no, they're taken, they're possessed somewhere else. You are living a ghostly fucking life. Now, if you can hear me, you're either going to starve me out and say, Shauna, you just don't seem to be as injured as I am, because what are you going to do? I mean, really, we see that you're squirming. See, sociopaths love to see this kind of squirming. Not really squirming. I'm doing what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life, which is, boy, we really don't know, but we kind of gear up and it's like, no, I can kind of see that I'm equipped with the skill of communications. I also have many modes. I'm supposed to raise my vibrational frequency on high so that I can get all of my modes of expressing, which is musical, which is animated, which is poetic, which is motivational speaker. I'm an astrologer, and just work it, and say, hey, can I get some money for this? If any of you fucking are watching this, any of you babes, if you see, this is the thing is like if I can get taken care of, then I can take care of you better. If it's just a fucking bedtime story that puts on a better voice that is less disruptive, then I don't know how disruptive it really is, because your TV shows that you watch, thank you for going through this agitation with me. A lot of us want our privacy. We want to be left alone enough so that we can really hear our inner calling, to just humble down and figure, oh no, see, if you have financial assistance, you can get away from the person that is manipulating you through your financing, through your poor financing. They can't get to you. You have another source. See, I you cannot fake a connection, but it is always faked though. It's I mean, what I'm saying is 80% of people are in a situationship. Now, I do point at the problem of homelessness, but then the fact that women aren't apt to be the ones to. I mean, I didn't just say that they can't build homes, but I'm sorry, but it just seems like that they're treated really bad. The ones that can actually make a difference if they were heard. First of all, they stand up and say no to something that's abusing them, their ability to do quality control. If the man wants to get to her sexually, to me, that's the only most important thing that happens. Who gives a fuck? Can you get your own resources? Let's see what kind of housing that the woman builds compared to the housing that the men build. Let's see what kind of vehicles that the woman comes up with compared to the vehicles. You'll be surprised that all of a sudden the man's going to put it down and say, wait a minute, you know what? You seem to be very attractive over there. It smells good. There isn't any pollution. I'm sorry. Really, I mean, who's doing quality control? Women do. How? They have a better nervous system set up. Their intelligence is intact. I don't know. I am not a biased person, and I'm so sick and tired of going here and talking about it. I do not like it. I don't like what is happening with men and women. I don't hate them. I didn't lose hope for any of them, but I'm looking at it and saying, no, 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 thanks. And as far as the sex thing, fuck, stay masturbating with whatever, use whatever, a bike, whatever tool that you need to masturbate with. However, stay away from each other though, because you're not even, you don't even care. You don't set yourselves aside enough to say, oh, and so what's happening with you? This is interesting. How do you get into it? See, astrology helps big time. But how many of you know that? There are people that are led to believe that it's evil, that it's a farce, and that you're not doing it right because there's a sign missing, there's a month missing, it's actually Vedic astrology, you're supposed to go one side back. And it's like, I don't give a fuck about that. Can you just know that the science of astrology is a science that is capable? I don't care what you think it is, just go off the top of your head. When you hear the word Aries, what do you know? You should know it's Mars ruled. It rules the physical body. It rules the head, the nervous system that is actually the very nervous system. It, the apparatus that is, a ram has this skull, this apparatus, this rack that is very technological. It's actually the skeleton part. There's where we're getting the cardinal signs connecting. It's looking like that astrology does point at how it's all working too biologically. It's weird. It's a trip. It's the only real science that points at all other possible sciences. Why? It's a symbols system. It's a language that is esoteric in nature, meaning that it's kind of in and of itself its own entity. And within it, if you get to know the symbols and its communication, usually it's the English alphabet, but you don't have to use that. It's timeless. You can go around anywhere and learn it because it's pointing at the truth found here as a real science in case you wanted to learn anything real. There's a possibility to know just the possibility through astrology, let alone that when you have the experience that is best, astrology, you can go back to astrology and say, oh my gosh, dog, that's when Mars was doing this and that, and that's when I was open to this and that, and the Jupiter was like that, and the communication was like this because Mercury was over here, and wow, what a passage we're going through now, which is the physical body. Uh, See, the Aries side of the organism, me, it's like, babes, honestly, I'm being kind still. I'm being available. All it is that it's like, can we heal? Though, is it for healing? I'm not going to be available to something that's just going to rake me over and keep me unhealing. It's just not time for that. We cannot allow it to happen anymore. And we see somebody who's trying to manipulate, see, the Aries individual, which is Mars. See, you want to get on top of it. Even men are like this, see, but this is the nervous system we're talking about. See, it's the I am, it's the first responders that says, excuse me, Aries, whether they're a man or woman, these who they are. This is who they are. They're just they're the first responders. You look at it. If it's not money driving them, the first responders, the ones who run towards the fire and who are able to actually save people, they get on their level and say, what do you need? And they fucking pull them out. Really? They're really there treating suffering in such a way that they respond in such a way that actually helps. It's not taking advantage of anybody. It's not having a hidden agenda. It wants the best for you. Something other than being down. It's not going to take advantage of you. It's going to wait till you get healthy. It's going to heal. It's going to heal itself. It waits till it gets healthy, and then it exposes itself and says, I am here for you. That's the Aries part of the individual body. Everybody has that somewhere in their body. If it's not their first house, it rules the first house. We're looking at our bodies then. We're looking at healthy I am, and that is all. If we think that we're going to get past that, you are wearing bubble wrap and you're fucked. Because your first responders are being told to stand down, and how many of the tools are being taken away now besides for the earth itself? And please pardon my, I don't know, you probably like it. It's like, good, but can I get a donation here, babes? I'm experiencing what it's like to have been hit by not an organization, it's an association who causes, or whatever it is, it's out there, it's 80%, it's just the way, it's the norm, Shauna. Don't you want to get into it? Don't you want to get married? No. No, that's not it. That's not you don't know what a soul connection really is. To be set free from that fucking illusion of title, when really all you need is a good friend there, and you know it, and you have trust because it's always been there. But you keep treating it like shit, and then but now you want to marry it because now you have a title to treat it like permanent shit. It just seems like that's 75% of what's going on, and a lot of people will say, "Yep." What are you trying to make work there? What are you really trying to make work there? Really, what's really at work except for somebody who knows the law and says, "You know what? I can take this person for their fucking assets." But you see, there's people that are running that program under energetic kind of karma that they can take their stuff without even being married. It's called just undermining and pretending to be a helper. And then, see, that's what's happening now is grabbing of energy and people trusting other organizations. They're going to absorb into them and start working for them. And that's just, you have to do it through vibrational alignment. The thing that's really happening, the split, is that the higher vibrational frequency knows that they can't own any of this, not even money, not even their rib cage, not even anything, but their behaviors and how they treat each other's suffering. In other words, you're kind of in a place here that what goes around comes around goes around, what goes around comes back at you as far as this suffering thing. If it's another being that is reaching out and you treat it a certain way, see, that's going to come back to you. It really does. And a lot of people don't know that. But that's the laws of the universe. Do unto others as you want them to do unto you because, see, you have to learn how to be forgiving. That's what forgiving means. See, I do this because people do not even know what the word for means, let alone how to give, like to forgive. See, I argue, minute 36, again, women are in the position of knowing precisely how to forgive. If it's just proof that, okay, so they build milk in their breasts and then they have to give it, they just have to, they give it and then something comes out of it, which is in the form of their baby growing. They forgive. See, a lot of people think that it's like, no, when somebody comes up and slaps you upside the head and they run away and it really hurt and it made you feel like a buffoon, you just have to forgive them. No. No, that's not what that means. Yeah, nah, that only makes sense when you say in such a way as like, well, but you don't ever forget about what they did and don't leave yourself open again. Learn self-defense and all this shit, but forgive them. What are you talking about? You forgive yourself for not being aware enough to trip that fucking bastard when they got hardly 5 feet away and say, "What the fuck, bitch? Didn't expect that, huh? You didn't expect an Aries to be there is what happened." First response, spontaneous, totally righteous. You will not see it until a year later. Whoa, that person is so righteous. You can't touch it with a 10-foot fucking booger.